President Uhuru Kenyatta says that the Covid-19 pandemic has driven over 40 million Africans into extreme poverty. The Kenyan Head of State said African countries require improved access to finance to be able to restart their economies and embark on a low-carbon, resilient and inclusive recovery. Now, President Kenyatta, who spoke Tuesday at State House, Nairobi, during a virtual leaders dialogue on the African COVID climate emergency organized by the Global Center on Adaptation and African Development Bank.
President
Uhuru Kenyatta said COVID-19 pandemic has worsened the impact of climate change on African economies and has seen continent's gross domestic product for the first time in 25 years dropped by over 3% in 2020. President Kenyatta emphasized on the need for climate action that supports sustainable development and post-COVID-19 green recovery plans to build back better, saying Kenya loses 3% of its GDP annually to climate change.
The program, ladies and gentlemen, I believe will go a long way to support countries like Kenya to scale up climate adaptation and resilience and to provide significant resources for climate adaptation throughout Africa and indeed throughout the Caribbean, the Pacific, and most of the global South.
The head of state told a high-level meeting that was chaired by Global Center on Adaptation chairperson Ban Ki-moon and President of African Development Bank Adaptation that Kenya has deployed significant national resources to scale up climate change adaptation efforts. He said for Africa to achieve its climate change adaptation agenda, there was need for more private sector participation and support from development partners.
And I want to underscore on the need to also leverage private sector as well as international finance if we are to achieve this ambitious climate adaptation agenda. It is only through partnerships like this that we can strengthen and accelerate resilience across our continent.
The president commended African Development Bank and the Global Center on Adaptation for spearheading the African Development Acceleration Program, saying the initiative will assist African countries to address climate change better.
The current level of ambition, ladies and gentlemen, we must agree is too low to meet the Paris Agreement of 1.5 degrees centigrade. The 2020 Interim United Nations Framework Convention on the Climate Change Synthesis Report submitted nationally determined contributions. This indicates that we can only close the emissions gap and build the resilience of our communities if the major emitters raise their ambition. And all countries submit their updated nationally determined contributions before COP26 later this year.
The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who addressed the meeting, called for stronger financial commitments from the developed nations to support climate change mitigation and adoption programs in the developing world. For Channel 1 News, I'm Gladys Mungai.